right. We should be live any second, and there we are. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris, and this is my channel, Barnon11970. And as usual, I like to start up my videos by thanking everybody for taking the time to view what I have to say. And hopefully you will listen to this with an open mind, because that's what my channel is all about. It's all about people thinking in different ways and thinking for themselves, because the more you think for yourself, the less likely it is that somebody can program or manipulate you by telling you a story and repeating it so many times that people just regurgitate it and you accept that as a truth without question. And those days, in my opinion, are slowly starting to fade away. So we need to start thinking for ourselves and think in a different way. And this is one of the most basic things that we take for granted about, that we really need to start thinking about, because what I'm about to mention is not going to be taught in schools. No TV program is ever going to talk about this. No politician or anyone is going to be discussing this at all, because, as they say, out of sight, out of mind. So they want people to not pay attention to things that are important. And to me, this is one of them. In something, like I said, the word time, we totally just take it for granted that it is the way they talk about. So I'm going to make you think in a different way. So please listen and then share your thoughts, especially once this video has uploaded. But of course, as we're doing this live, you're more than welcome to leave your comments. So the inspiration for this video is I was going through my Facebook page, and every now and then you'll see posts from people, and I do subscribe on Facebook to a couple of people that I think are pretty smart, and they are, thinking in different ways. So let's get into the time concept. Hopefully this... Oh, hold on a second. They love doing this. Okay, so supposedly it says it's continuing, so I apologize if you hear me just talking nonstop. It showed that it took it off the line for a moment or two, so I apologize. That's not me. YouTube loves to do that. So let's get into the time concept and the lie behind time. Now, if you think about time, what is, for example, a year? Now, they teach you in school it's 365 days. And then when you go to college, you learn it's a little bit more than 365 days because it's not an exact rotation. But basically, a year, the concept of a year in time is because the Earth rotates around the sun, one complete rotation. So that makes sense, and we've been taught that since, probably first or second grade. But I want you to think about this in a different way. What if our planet was further or closer to the sun? What if the speed that it rotates around the sun is different? Would a year still be the same? It wouldn't. So a year basically only works on this planet at the current speed of its rotation and the current distance it travels. Because if you're anywhere outside that, the year, as we know it, doesn't apply. So think of a month. How do they tell you a month comes into existence? Well, they tell you a month is when our moon does a complete rotation around the Earth. Now, again, it's not exactly 1 month. There's probably a couple seconds or minutes added to it, but they basically break it down to it takes approximately 30 quote-unquote days for the rotation to complete one turn, which makes a month. Well, what if you were on a planet that didn't have a moon? What if you were on a planet that had several moons? What if you had a planet with a moon, but it didn't rotate at all, or just rotated at different speeds? So think about that. Our month, again, only would work here on this planet because of our one particular moon going at a certain speed of rotation. So the same thing, for example, well, what is a day? A day is compiled of a complete rotation of our planet spinning on the axis. Each hour is 15 degrees. Now, whether this is accurate or not, I'm not even going to really get into that. I know the flat earther people are going to go crazy with this stuff, but it doesn't matter either way, because, again, if there is a rotation, what if there's a planet that doesn't have a rotation, or their rotation is slower or faster? So time is there to keep you grounded. It's there as a concept. It's an illusion. So when they talk about how that link somebody sent me about how the future can, do something with affect the past, well, they're both happening at the same time. And I know sometimes that's hard for people to be able to grasp because we're taught in such a 3 and 4 dimensional concept. And again, if you think about time as we know it, it only works here. And that's one of the reasons where it would seem to make sense when they talk about, for example, in Einstein's theory of the speed of light. I don't know if he originated. Well, let's just assume that he did it because it's the message that's the most relevant, not the person who came up with it or spoke about it. If you were to travel at the speed of light, let's say for a year, you would only be a year old or even less because time would slow down for you. But all the people you knew on the planet would already been long gone dead because time would bend. So it shows that time is not some kind of concept that's just going to be what we've been told. It has a lot to do with distance. It has a lot to do with speed. But we're not taught these things. Why? Because they want to make sure that you don't realize, because you need realize to realize, that since time is an illusion, you could slow it down, speed it up, you can bend it, you can manipulate it, because it's not something that is permanently the way they teach you. And they use clocks as a way to regulate you and control you. It's just another form of a lie that we've been told. And like they say, you tell a lie long enough, it becomes the truth. So go to any science teacher, go to any scientist, and ask them about these kind of videos. Ask them, well, how could time be constant if it only is based on the rotation of our planet or the moons around it? Because it would be different anywhere else. A year wouldn't be the same on Saturn as it is on Earth. Pluto, same thing, further rotation. We know that Saturn has many moons. So how would they calculate what a Saturn's month would be? What if their spin is slower or faster? Well, a day would be different then, wouldn't it? Seasons would be different. So something as simple as time could be easily manipulated, could be easily taken for granted because you just see a clock on the wall and you assume, well, that's just the way it is. That's just the way they want you to think it is. So what does that mean to you in the long term? Well, that depends on how far you want to start to realize about what time is all about and illusions are all about and why they continue to lie to us and make us focus on things that make us frightened and angry or try and make us worry about how much money we can make and survive on this planet. Even though we are made of the same energy as a stone or a tree or a drop of water or space itself. Everything is energy. Everything is vibrational energy. That's why if you ever look at any kind of research where they show you physical, quote unquote, sound waves, like they put certain things like sand or something and they do different sound waves and it forms shapes, it shows that vibration is what affects all of us. It's just the condensity and the amount of molecules that form something. Because if you had for example, let's just say a solid steel bar. Well, you can't put your finger through it. But if you take an electron microscope and you look at how separate and how far the molecules really are, basically solidity has nothing to do with the fact that it's solid. It just means that the molecules of your finger are more condensed than the molecules of that lead or steel, and you just can't go through it. But if you shrunk down small enough through fractal, if you start studying fractals, well, you could get so small that eventually the steel molecules would be so far apart you'd think you were in outer space. That's why things like light can go through glass. And light can also burn your skin. So these are all concepts we really need to start thinking about in a different way and ask ourselves and ask our teachers and ask our scientists and ask our politicians, why don't they discuss these things? Why is it somebody like me who will have 40,000 subscribers where about 300 people now will listen? So they're really hammering my channel now, which to me just says to me I'm on the right path, because if you look at my videos now, I have almost 40,000 subscribers. My past 3 or 4 videos have less than 500 views. So they're really doing a job of making sure my channel doesn't get out there. To me, even though that's frustrating and sometimes annoying because they're hindering truth, it doesn't shock me and it doesn't surprise me and shows me I'm on the right path. I challenge any scientist to ask about, to answer these questions about time. But they don't want you to talk about that. They want you to worry about war. They want you to worry about the economy. They want you to worry about that somebody else who prays to a different God than you, or has a different sexual preference or a different colored skin. They want you to all hate each other so we could fight each other and stay in this 3-dimensional form of control where time is relevant for us. It's because we choose it to be. It's an illusion. It's based on where we are in the universe, and in an infinite universe, how could time be anything constant when it has to do with simple rotations and distance and speed? And here we go. We always get the flat earthers wanting to come in that no matter what we say, they just want to randomly say that. So I'm just going to say insanity is sanity. Obviously, you want attention. So I just want to say to you, this is why most people don't want to study the whole flat earth. Is because no matter what people talk about, they just come in and just jump in and say, hey, by the way, the earth is flat. Congratulations on that. But people like you are the reason why they don't want to take it seriously. So let's assume that it is flat because, I'm going to give you your 15 seconds of fame. Well, you're not doing any good to make people want to take you seriously. Because just imagine if you and your friends were having a conversation, and then all of a sudden some strange person came into the middle of the conversation, just said something that has nothing to do with it. And insanity, I understand you're not messing, but there's a time and place for everything. To just randomly say that, and people do this all the time, is making people not take everyone serious. And this is why we are not unified. This is why something as simple as the concept of time will not be discussed by most people, because we could not reach a common ground. So insanity, if you're trying to share truth, you better start learning how to do it properly, because most people are not going to take you seriously. And that's not the point. Yes, you're putting it on the conversation on the chat, but you're changing what the topic is about. And people need to start really unifying and doing things the right way. That's why the rest of the world does not take us seriously. And again, yes, it's all about divide and conquer. So that's why I mention these things every now and then. If you want to speak truth, we need to do it correctly. If I'm doing a video about time, and I'm talking about the rotation of the planet, and I'm talking about all these things, and you just start talking about the flat earth, you're not helping us unify. So I accept your apology, and this is why I want to communicate with people, because we need to focus on what's important. And the important part is we're being controlled. And I'm going to just go back to the flat earth thing, because flat earthers love talking about this. Whether the earth is round, whether the earth is flat, whether the earth is 3-dimensional, whether it's an illusion, whether it's a computer program, we're being controlled on it. So in my opinion, the shape of it doesn't matter. What matters to me is there are people who control us living on it. That's what we should focus on. Because if we find out tomorrow the earth is flat, has that set us free? We're still slaves. So people need to focus on what is most important. And that is thinking in a different way. That is also understanding we're being lied to. That is also to realize that they distract you with 5,000 things that may seem important to you, but it's not the grand scheme of what's most important. And this is the concept a lot of people in this quote-unquote truther community do not seem to grasp. They have passion in one particular part. They focus on that to the point where nothing else can be heard. And then they just do not see the bigger picture. So I'm not going to talk about flat Earth anymore. If you want to talk about flat Earth, make your own videos. I am worried about the fact that we are being controlled on whatever shaped planet this is. And that is how we move past it. It's by the understanding or realizing how powerful you are as a human being, how you are energy, how you are light, you are vibration, you are made of the same structure as a stone, as an air molecule. Everything is living. It's just they define living as somebody like us because we breathe and we reproduce and we communicate. A rock is just as alive as a human in the universe's way because it's made of the same type of molecules and energy that we are. It just doesn't go walking and talking and multiplying, but everything has a vibration. Our planet has a vibration. The solar system has a vibration. I want people to think deeper. This is what they want. They want you to fight with each other. They want you to focus on one little small point. So this way you will never understand how powerful you are and what you are truly made of. You want to focus on the shape of the planet instead of focusing on the fact that regardless of what it is, it's made of the same energy as you are, and it's a construct of your own inner thoughts projecting on itself. So if you want to focus on a movie that you're seeing in your own projection screen called your brain, then by all means, please do. But you're going to spend your whole life watching the same movie over and over again. It's time to get past that. Shapes of an illusion are irrelevant. If you're in prison, do you care the shape of your prison? It is time to think different. And Carlos says plants are alive. Yes, everything is alive. They just teach you that you have to be breathing or you have to reproduce to be alive. They don't want you to think that a stone, a mountain, air is alive. Light has consciousness. We are made of light. Why do you think you always see in any religion, any of the gods that anyone worships always have this ray of light around them or a beam of light around their head? They're trying to tell you. That's why in religion, they have always the son of the god. Well, it's not S-O-N, it's S-U-N. They just don't want you to think that way. That's why the Egyptians were one of the people that they didn't worship the sun. They knew what it really was all about. There's a lot of metaphors. It's for you to think deeper, to see the code, to get the message. And again, insanity, it's apparently you are just going to focus on that one thing. So by all means, stay in the fact that you are concerned about the shape of the prison that you are on and see where that helps you. So you say you would care about the shape of the prison. Well, what if you can't escape because you're so worried about, you're focusing the whole time of, well, why? Everybody says my cage that I'm trapped in is round, but it really looks square to me. So instead of escaping, you're focusing on the shape. You don't have time to escape because you're too busy sitting there wondering what the shape is. And that's the part you're not getting. So please, by all means, focus on the shape of the prison that you are trapped on and see how much that helps you. And this is why decade after decade, century after century, millennia after millennia, they still, the wealthy, the extremely wealthy, have control over the masses who are constantly beat down and poor. Because we choose to be this way. And people want to focus on one little piece of an infinite way of being. You are formulating your own reality based on the fact that energy is drawn in through magnetism. You ever wonder why you're attracted to someone? It's an attraction. You're creating your own quote-unquote reality. Take a pencil and put it in your hand. It's not touching your hand. It just looks like it is. But again, hold a pen in your hand and then have somebody put an electron microscope and keep zooming in and in and in and in. And eventually you and the pen and the fingers will be so far apart you would not even know they exist. So it depends on size. And these are things we need to discuss and think about and realize that you don't have to be under control. The reason why we are all under control is we choose to allow them to do it. That's why if you even look at something as simple as the 13th Amendment, consent of the governed, well, your consent is through your silence. You can argue about it, just like if somebody was punching you in the face, you could sit there holding a sign and saying how unfair it is, but if you do nothing to change it, whose fault is it? You're now being pummeled to death. It's all a choice. And Bruce, yeah, I understand people like that. The point is we have to have other people start to understand that there are bigger, more important things. So if he wants his few seconds of popularity to just pop in and do it, congratulations, he's gotten it. He's gotten it on a channel that's going to get probably 300 views. You're better off doing that on Alex Jones. So, okay, so he's going to get offended instead of realizing that we need to see a bigger picture. So Insanity, have a great life. You're obviously focused too much on one thing, and you're not going to let go and see the bigger picture. So if you feel the need you have to leave because of that, well, stay in your lower vibration, focus on the one particular shape of a planet, and I wish you luck with that. That's your choice. And I talk about this because I want people to grasp the fact that we can sit here and bicker and argue and each person have their own little difference of opinion, or we can all start to unify and see the bigger picture that there are people who are in the know, who have information that we will never get, that is slowly being trickled down to us because you can't hide the truth forever. And we realize that the few are controlling the many because they know more than we do and they're united more than we are. And that's why we focus on things that scare us, things that work on our vanity, things that work on our greed. The lower vibrational energies to keep you grounded. And that's what the whole concept and illusion of time is. And that's why I want people to see a bigger picture. So I don't mind talking to somebody that's going to just focus on one particular concept. Because I'm not saying it's not important, but it's not the most important thing. How many people walking on this planet don't even know that they are not free and it's by their choice? But that can change if people focused on what's important and how powerful you are. Mind over matter, because there is no such thing as matter. It's an illusional construct. So whether we're being lied to about chemtrails, whether we're being lied to about the food, whether we're being lied to about the shape of the planet, we're being lied to. That's what we need to focus on. Not every single lie, because we'll spend a lifetime worrying about, well, they lied about this, then they lied about this, now they're lying about this, and don't forget this, they lied about this, instead of just saying, wait a minute, they're lying. And we allow these people to continue to lie to us and control us and take our money from us and make money into something where if you don't have enough of it, guess what? You can't get food. You can't have your children be warm. You can't get all the nice fancy things that they can because they require these pieces of paper that they create to give to you in order to survive. Do you think that's why we were placed on this planet? Think about that. Even the most religious people, do you think we were placed on this planet so we can just sit it behind a desk, make some paper, and spend our whole lives in sorrow, in pain, and in debt? Which route do I want to take to unveiling the truth? The main route. And I'll give you an example. Let's say I live in New York, which I do, and I want to travel to California. I want to take the most direct route, but there is an infinite amount of ways to go. The roads are going to split all over the place. I can decide, I'm going to head towards Europe, go all the way around the other way to end up in California. There are an infinite ways to go, but I'd like to get there the quickest way. And the shape of the earth is not the final piece to the puzzle. It's the fact that we are being controlled and we need to take that back. So if we want to detour and take a side road towards our destination, don't be surprised that we may never get to the destination because we're focused so much on the side trip. And that's what things like Flat Earth, that's what things like Planet X, that's what things like the Illuminati, that's what things like all the other stuff is all about. Getting you to veer off of your course so you never get to the final destination, which is ultimate freedom for everyone, seeing who they truly are. You're focusing on a side path. It might be an important side path, but it is not the important side. It's not the destination. So when it comes to what route do I want to take to unveiling the truth, I want the final destination, which gives us all the freedom to know that we manifest and create our own quote-unquote reality based on our own thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. Why do you think our beliefs are scattered all over the place? Ever wonder why the world is so chaotic? Well, everybody's thought process is chaotic. As above, so below. So if we want to argue about the shape of the planet, and forget about the fact that the planet, regardless of the shape, has everything to do with your manifesting of your own truth. So whether it's flat or round, you know what? It's both. Because it depends on the person that's creating their own reality on it. If you want to believe the earth is flat, you're going to have every truth to justify what you say. If you want to say the earth is round, you're going to have everything that comes to that conclusion. If you want to say it's a hologram or a computer program, you're all of a sudden going to be manifesting everything that justifies your truth. Everything is truth. So the planet is square, the planet is flat, the planet is round. Depends on which one you want to create into your own reality. But again, it's another trap. If you want to focus on one particular aspect instead of the grand scheme of things and see all of the illusion, well, you're stuck and you're trapped. Focusing on the one thing you will never truly get the answer to, and you'll never get to your destination. And in insanity, and I guess and this is the last conversation you and I are having with this, and you're saying we will never get to the ultimate truth of what the reality really is. I don't believe that. You believe that, so you are creating your own truth. So yes, you will never get the ultimate truth. I will. Because you're basing it on your own belief system. You've already said you can't do it. You will never do it. So you will have a universe that you create that gives you that truth. The question is, why would you want to do that to yourself? But that's the beauty of free will. So anyway, as usual, I love to get into conversations with people. As you could see, there are going to be people that, like they say, drowning in good intention. I'm not going to sit here and say he's an evil person. What I'm saying is he's not focusing, or she's not focusing. I don't know male or female, or I don't want to assume, especially these days. But we're focusing on just one tip of the whole thing. So we can go back and forth with this. We can have arguments because on each side they will have valid points. Each side will have things that make sense. Each side is going to show examples. Each side is going to show proof. Well, either they're both wrong or they're both right. So that's what it comes down to. And you will always associate with other people that will agree or resonate with you. That's what the tribe mentality is all about. And that's how they use divide and conquer, where they can get the small amount of people to control the large amount of people. So if you want to unite with other people that think your same way and you're not able to think in different ways and you focus on one particular agenda, guess what? You're being controlled. So there goes your freedom. So you'll discover the shape of your prison. Congratulations. Is that your ultimate goal? I hope not, but that's your choice. So anyway, I love these kind of conversations because this is not about whether a person is evil or not. I'm sure Insanity is Sanity is probably a nice person. I don't know him. He may have good intentions. He may be here as a troll. I don't know. I don't know the person, nor do I really honestly care. The whole thing is, if we keep thinking in little fragments of different viewpoints and never unify, well, it's the collective that creates the reality that we live in. But ultimately, you create your own reality. But that's why they want to get everybody directed in a certain lie. Because if you can get everybody mentally believing in a certain concept, well, that helps to manifest that particular part of reality. And if you know anything about fractals and you know anything about the fact of alternate dimensions and other Earths and things like that, there's an infinite amount of choices that you can shift to at the split of a second or less because of the speed of light. You're always moving. But that's what we don't want to see. That's what we don't want to focus on. That's what they don't want you to think is actually out there. But yet you see it all the time. Whether you have 14,000 subs or anything, it's obviously clear you're here for attention, so I'm giving it to you. But my point is, you keep focusing on one little thing that's going to keep you trapped because you're going to focus all of your energy on the shape of the planet instead of the people that are controlling you on it. So that's your choice. So why you need the attention, obviously you need that attention, and I'm more than happy to give it to you if it makes you feel more relevant. So keep focusing on one little aspect of the whole lie. You're creating part of it. And I never said you were a troll anyway. I'm saying you could be one of the two. And yes, there are no hard feelings. That's why we're not cursing at each other. We can have a debate. It can even be a heated debate. But if we all see the conclusion that I'm trying to speak the truth, you're trying to speak the truth, and instead of just blatantly trying to change the subject, we should all focus on one unified thing. And if it's not in this particular topic, then wait for the next time, so we're not spending most of the conversation arguing amongst each other. That's the part I want you to focus on. I'm not saying you're a troll. I'm sure you have every good intention. All right, and Bruce says, what does it mean to be quote-unquote awake? Does it mean you watch a ton of YouTube videos about flat Earth? If you want it to be. To me, awake means you're starting to see things for yourself. You're starting to see that everything or something is different from what you were told. That instead of relying on other people to tell you what is, you go and search it yourself, whether it be a book, a YouTube video, or your own investigation. People are so hung up on YouTube videos. Like, no book has ever lied? No book can't be manipulated? What about a book somebody wrote 500 years ago? Can you verify the person that wrote it really believed in what he said? He didn't make up the story? Just because it's in between pages means it's automatically true? And yet people will make fun of videos and say, oh, you watch YouTube? Well, before YouTube, there was television. Why is it we can believe everything that's programmed for us from a bunch of people who have constantly and historically lied to us and say that's the truth because it's on the TV, but if you watch it on YouTube, then it must not be true? I've learned a lot of stuff based on YouTube videos. Some things have been wrong. Some things have been clear. Some things have helped me get into a different perspective. The whole thing is, if you can utilize any information from several different directives, and it helps improve your life and makes you more independent, more free thinking, and gets you away from the slaving system that's there to entrap you and keep you in depression and anger and focusing all on greed instead of your own freedom, well then does it matter where the information comes from? So to me, that's what being awakened is. And we're all trying to do that. And that's why I talk about, like how I started this video, talking about the illusion of time. Because no one ever talks about that. Everybody takes it for granted. And when you really think about what time is all about, you realize that it only works here and now. So how is time consistent if it's based on the planet? So, and Bruce says, what do we do? Well, no longer consent to their rule. No longer allowing their fiat currency to control your life. No more taking everything else that somebody says as face value. Start learning and thinking for yourself. Start doing things independently. Start speaking up and losing the fear. They want you to be scared. They want you to be embarrassed because people like me will be made fun of by people. Whether they're doing it because they get paid, or they do it because they don't know any better, or they do it because it's fun to do, they're trying to silence the truth, or at least the progression of thought for yourself. Because I never sat here and said every single one of my videos is 100% accurate, because I can't prove that. A lot of this is my own belief system. It will resonate with you or it won't resonate with you, but what my channel should be all about is the fact that I preach to people to think for themselves, to question things. Because here's the difference between me and somebody like CNN. They have a lot of money. They read a lot of scripts. They make up a lot of influence. I don't read from a script. I don't have million-dollar corporations feeding me information. I'm just speaking my mind. And that's what freedom is all about. So many people are so afraid to leave the tribe. That's why everybody dresses like what the TV says. In style. I don't believe in style. I believe in I wear what I want to wear. It's all about being yourself. So what can we do? Think for yourselves. Do for yourselves. Stop listening to the people manipulating us. Stop putting your trust in places that are meant to control you. Remember, the people that control you, when the devil, if you believe in the devil, when the devil wants to try and get you to sell your soul, he doesn't threaten you. What does he do? He offers you everything you've ever desired and pretends to be your best friend. So that should tell you right there, in any movie that you've ever seen where somebody wants to make a deal with the devil comes as your best friend. So governments will always kiss the baby that's right next to them. They'll tell you everything that you want to hear. They'll make you think, oh, we got to get back to work. But they don't make you think, well, if we get back to work, that means that's getting more tax revenue. So even if they say they're going to lower the taxes, there's more people working, which means they're going to collect more revenue, which means they're stealing more of your money. We got to think deeper. We got to think bigger. And that's why channels like mine, I guarantee you this video will get no more than 500, 600 views with almost 40,000 subscribers. It's because they don't want people to think for themselves. They don't want people to question. They want you smart enough to run the machines for them, doing their work while they drop down a couple of their little scraps off the table, and some of us seem to thank them for it. How many people still have bank accounts? I've been telling people for years, open up a credit union. Get out of the banks. And the reason with gold and silver, even though the price is going down, it's based on fiat dollars. The whole banking system and taxation system is an illusion and theft. It's stealing your money, but yet we all volunteer to do it. So what do? We start working. And since, Brian, you don't seem to get it, after I made my point, you just decide to put that, we're going to say goodbye to Brian. I'm not. If anybody's going to randomly talk about things that have nothing to do with this video, from now on I'm just going to block them, because otherwise it's just defeating the purpose. So anyway, this is all about thinking for yourselves. It's all about seeing the things that we take for granted and think is just basic. We look on our clock and say, oh, it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon. That means that's where it's going to be everywhere in the universe. We got to start thinking differently. We got to stop trusting in the people that sit there and say, oh, trust us. You don't have to trust me. You could not believe a word I say. I'm not here with an agenda. I'm not here trying to get millions of dollars by lying to you and reading a script. Every single video I've done is all about me just thinking of a concept and going with it. You don't see me looking into a camera reading from a cue card that somebody else wrote. So what do? More than nothing. Every little bit helps. But don't focus on one particular thing. The ultimate goal is the freedom for all, to see what we really are. And there really is no such thing as a devil. Again, that's just the concept. But it's the thought of them being able to make movies to show information to people that can think deeper than just the entertainment they see on a screen. I've told people all the time, look in the hidden meanings of words that are in movies and songs and just your regular vocabulary. You know, it's all about putting you in debt. It's all about admiralty law, law of the sea. That's why there's so many words that have to do with the ocean. That's why you have things like relationship, companionship, partnership, dictatorship. That's why when they pass a law, they have to first what? Create a bill. And that's why when you're by yourself, what are you? You're a loan. You know, loan from a bank. Penny for your thoughts. It's time for the next quarter. It's all about money. It's all about the trickery, the illusion, so you can think on a third or fourth dimensional plane. That's why time is a working concept here. But it is a concept. It's not real. But when you make it real, it structures your whole system, your whole way of life. That's what we need to rise above. You know, you could thrive very well here. You could make billions of dollars and have a great life here in this quote-unquote physical world, even though it's not physical, but you'll never have your true enlightenment. You'll never learn your true self. It's like having a wonderful dream, and never waking up from it? What good is that if you spend your whole life in bed asleep, having a wonderful dream? And that's why they said that comedian, and I forget his name, but George Carlin says, the American dream, because you have to be asleep to have it, to something to that certain extent. And here's the thing, and Rambone, I understand what you're saying, blame the elite. We can blame the elite all we want, but it's our choice to follow them. Like Ben Kenobi said when he was hiding in the Millennium Falcon in Star Wars, when he says to Han Solo, who's the fool? Who's more foolish, the fool or the fool who follows him? So think about that. So yes, if somebody told you to jump off a bridge, let's say, for example, and I'm going to show you why blaming the elite is a nice beginning concept, but how it ultimately doesn't allow us to take responsibility for our own choices. Let's say there's somebody on a bridge, and you walk up to them on the bridge, ask them what they're doing, and they tell you that, I'm here to tell people that if you jump off this bridge, you're going to have the most pleasurable experience in your life. They've always told you if you jump off that bridge, you're going to die. That's so far from the truth. I promise you that if you jump off this bridge right now and land into those rocks, you're not going to be hurt. It's going to be fun, and you will have the best vision of your entire life. Now, that person could be 100% lying, thinking, what stupid person is actually going to believe this? Well, let's say you're the trusting, naive person because the person sounded genuine. The things he said seemed to make sense. And he talked in a way that convinced you that jumping off the bridge would be a pleasurable experience. Well, what do you think is going to happen as you plummet to your death? Now, is it bad that that person lied to you? Of course it is. But who gets the consequences? Who made the choice? So that's another concept. Yes, there are people that are controlling us, but that's only because we allow it. So the idea is, don't use their bribery and their greed to control you. If you need welfare, instead of finding any way to get a job or doing something to better your life, well, you're always going to be in control of how they dictate how much money you get. You could grow your own crops if you could. There's plenty of ways to do it even in the city. There's plenty of inventions now that they have that you could make your own garden just from something you could buy off of eBay. It depends on how far you want to think. It's when you say you can't is when you won't. And that's how they can shape your reality, that even though you create your reality, if somebody else convinces you to add something into a movie, you don't have to, but if you do, that's going to change the whole movie. So that's the whole thing of the smarter people learning how to manipulate your own free will, is they get you to believe in their own concepts. It's just like you being a producer of a movie and some person convinces you to add a love scene in a comedy that you didn't think would be working. But it was your choice to accept it. That's what belief is all about. And that's why the whole flat earth or round earth thing, you'll have plenty of people telling you plenty of facts that will make you think the earth is round. And at the same token, you'll have plenty of people that will talk about facts that will make you think the earth is flat. Well, either one's right, both is wrong, or both are right. All are possibilities. So we got to think deeper than that. We have to think higher than that. There are different levels of vibration. What you want to stay on is up to you. And the beautiful thing is, you don't have to stay there once you realize you have the ability to shift. Because once you know, like they say, knowing is half the battle. So that's it. I wanted to make this a quick video, and now it's a 45-minute video, which means there'll probably be 300 people that watch maybe 5 minutes of it, which is unfortunate. But hey, I can't control what everybody else does. This is for the people it resonates with. So if it's 5 people that resonate, hey, that's 5 more people that are starting to think differently, and to me, that's what matters. So I'm going to end this video here. I want to thank everybody for taking the time to leave their comments, even people that I might have discussed in different ways. This is not about us wanting to fight. It's about us thinking on a higher vibrational level. So think about compassion, think about truth, think about your own self and how you're more power than you will ever believe. Just like if you look at the movie Labyrinth, think about that. I'm going to end on this because there's so many movies that teach you this. But the movie Labyrinth, the girl is trying to go through the labyrinth while she's worried about the Goblin King, who's basically trying to control her. And in the end, you know how she defeats him? She doesn't stab him. She doesn't throw him off a cliff. She doesn't take a gun and blow him away. She just turns to him, looks him straight in the eyes, and says, "You have no control over me." And that realization of, you have all the power, you have all the control. The only reason she didn't is because she was convinced by him that she didn't. So that truth became her truth until she understood her true power. And all she had to do was look at the enemy and say, "You have no control over me." That's why I was always, as a kid, when I watched that movie, I was like, oh, that's such a lame ending. It's like, all she had to do was say that. Well, yeah, it is that simple. Just like with the Wizard of Oz, you had the power to go home all along. You just needed heart, brains, and courage through your experience of traveling the Golden Road to understand or understand that you had the power the whole time. You just had to believe in yourself. These are the things they've been trying to teach you forever. Most people just see them as entertainment. And that's why they'll get what they want, entertainment. The ones that could see deeper will get that aha moment. And your life will never be the same. And to me, that's a good thing. Because obviously, if we're all looking at videos like this, then there's something about our lives we're not too happy with. And the people who are trying to run them. They only run them because we give them the energy to. The day we stop that is the day it comes crumbling down. They have no power over you unless you believe they do. Their free will against your free will. Hope this helped. If it does, give it a thumbs up. If you want to share it, I always appreciate it. Leave your comments and keep subscribing. And who knows, maybe I'll get a video over 1,000 views in the next 6 years. Thanks, YouTube. I'll see you later. Have a great night.